Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment is aware of the proliferation of private recruitment agencies recruiting unskilled Gambian migrant workers who work abroad. The current Labour Act 2007 does not have any specific provision on labour migration, nor do we have labour policies covering Gambian migrant workers working outside the country. Furthermore, it is not a requirement in the current Labour Act 2007 for private recruitment agencies to register with the Department of Labour and also giving the department the authority to provide regulatory oversight for their operations. However, the current or the draft Labour Bill 2022 clearly states that private recruitment agencies shall register with the Department of Labour so that due processes of the recruitment procedures are followed and monitored. This way, Honorable Speaker, recruitment or recruited migrant workers can be tracked and informed decisions put in place. Under the tracking mechanism, the ministry has upgraded the labor market information system and migration information system. We hope once operationalized, we will be able to track both the labor market and the migration data required. As we speak, there is no labor migration policy, but there is a national migration policy 2020-2030 developed by the Ministry of Interior. The ministry, in collaboration with the International Organization for Migration, developed the following documents as part of its strategies to coordinate labor migration issues, particularly Gambian migrant workers. The Labor Bill 2022, the Labor Migration Strategy and Plan of Action 2022-2026, Policy Guidelines for Labor Migration and Ethical Recruitment in the Gambia, Pre-Departure Training Manual, the National Employment Policy and Action Plan 2022-2026. Apart from the Labor Bill 2022, all the aforementioned documents are validated and are in operations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister, for the answer. I think the issue here is making this private recruitment agency responsible for their actions, because at the end of the day, it's the government that will take charge when they are stranded somewhere. So, would you be able to or willing to take a look at those policies and ensure that those private recruitment agencies actually are taking or take responsibility for their actions? Because otherwise, it's the government that will come back to suffer for those consequences.
Honorable Speaker, the ministry will be very happy to work with this August Assembly to come up with documents or policies that will ensure that action is taken where recruitment agencies are found wanting.
Thank you very much for that answer. Also, in the tracking mechanism that you just mentioned, that's been done by the Interior. What collaborative efforts are you making? Are you doing together to ensure that you have all the information you need to ensure that people living for specific purposes actually are also tracked?
Honorable Speaker, we are collaborating with the Ministry of Interior. Currently, we have an office for labor migration that is headed by an immigration officer based in the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment. So we are closely working to ensure we monitor what is happening with the labor market, particularly when it comes to mobilization of labor outside of this country. Thank you.
The member for Woolly is.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we are talking about Gambians that are working outside, their rights and duties and benefits. So, since the Gambia is a signatory to the International Labour Organization, what role does the ILO have in this particular issue that we are raising here?
Mr. Honorable Speaker, I know the ILO works with governments, countries, and particularly government ministries that are responsible for labor management. And we are in close collaboration with the ILO. The role they play usually is proactively during the preparation of documents and the design of instruments, particularly providing expertise to guide the process as well as the content of instruments that manage labor. So they support the ministry. They've been doing that even with the labor bill. They've been very active participants and supported the ministry to come up with the labor bill.
Member for Central Badibu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, can you make those policies available to the Parliament, those that you have just mentioned, apart from the labor bill?
Honorable Speaker, I will endeavor to provide them as soon as possible to the Honorable Assembly. I'll do that. Thank you.
Member for Tumanna.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, if you don't mind, you will finish this August Assembly with the list of the recruitment agencies that are playing to recruit the Gambians to work outside. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I would have to refer to the files and get that information for the National Assembly, and we'll endeavor to do that as soon as possible. I can't provide them on top of my head.
Member for Kansala.
I withdrew. My question is answered. Thank you.
Question number 149 of 2023 by the member for Joshua. There is point of order from the member for Banjul South.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, point of order 143, security checks. A security check or screening under paragraph 1 shall extend to handbag or
Honorable member, please speak a bit louder.
1433, no member or person shall bring a firearm or any offensive weapon into the chamber. Mr. Speaker, I see a police officer upstairs and I think that they might be armed. And it says that it should be handed to the Sergeant of Arms. So can they check whether he's armed, because arms are not allowed in the chambers? Thank you.
Honorable member, I'm not sure if you were in earlier on prior to our break. There was a point of order and I made a ruling to that effect. And I sustained that ruling.
You ruled that we can have firearms against our standing orders, or can you bring my attention to the ruling, please?
No, please.
Member for Central Badibu. Yes, the member, order please.
Yes,
order.
I think what he's trying to do is, or to tell you is, in the morning we raise a point of order. Now he advised the office of the clerk to put the necessary things in place so that by tomorrow, effect from tomorrow, it will be handled.
If anything should happen, we are at risk.
Please. Member for Woolly is?
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. So since order.
Member for Banjul South, please, order.
Since your ruling is saying from effect from tomorrow, from now until tomorrow, do we now suspend this 143 from now until tomorrow so that they can do that? Thank you. Moving a motion that we suspend the said standing order clause 140. Thank you. I rise to move a motion to suspend that particular clause.
Any seconder?
No, I'm not seconding that.
Opasalu.
Thank you. I rise to second the motion in the suspension of clause 148. That was alluded to. Using for the 143. Yeah.
It has been moved and seconded that section 148 clause 3 be suspended. 43.3. 143.3 be suspended until tomorrow. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Question number 149 of
Honorable Speaker,
2020.
we do not agree with it.
Honorable
Division.
member,
We call for division.
Honorable member, you are out of order.
No.
No, you cannot just use your mic and this morning you raised a very important point of order that members are fond of interrupting and you just jump and speak to your mic without being given. You are out of order. Are you raising a point of order? Tell me, are you on a point of order or what? Observation? No. Are you on a point of order or No. You only raise a point of observation when a member or the vice president or his minister is speaking. No, he did not call for a division. Are you the member for Kiang West? Please. The member for Kiang West want to observe. And I said no member is given the floor for him to observe. I just gave the floor to the member for Joshua to ask a question. And he has not even. Point of order. Please, there is a point of order by the member for Kiang West, and tell us your point of order.
My order is that a member has right to call for division whenever you don't agree with the motion.
Please, allow me.
That is the order.
Honorable members, please sit down. Honorable member, please sit down.
I will not read it.
The member for Kiang West, please go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, I was calling for division on the motion that was just moved by Honorable Willie East.
Honorable Speaker, let me read the authority. The authority.
No. Yes. Even though if it is third, even that's what I'm putting to your attention.
Yes. In fact, honorable members, it's just been brought to my attention by my aides that in accordance with 148, suspension of standing orders, one reads, any of these standing orders may be suspended on a motion to that effect, submitted in accordance with Standing Order 52, notice of motion, and passed by the Assembly. And remember, 52 have a notice of 5 days. So in accordance with that, Yes. Minister, please, you can take your seat, sir. Honorable members, you know, earlier on, my ruling on these firearms, I made it very clear that the office of the Speaker, the office of the Clerk should work with the office of the Sergeant at Arms and the Ministry of Interior to put up mechanism in place to be able to enforce that order for the safety of all members and also for effective search and also safekeeping of those firearms. So the office of the clerk will work with them, and I'm sure it will take some time to put all those measures in place. And now, in accordance with the standing orders, with the suspension of that order, and I will work with the office of the clerk. I will come back later on to do ruling, probably today or later on.
Honorable Speaker, we are not clear. We are not definitely clear. Honorable Speaker, in the morning.
Please take your seat. Honorable members, you know, I ruled earlier on the point of order raised by you, and I made it very clear that the office of the clerk should work with the Sergeant at Arms office and the Ministry of Interior to put in place mechanism where, in which that order will be effectively utilized for the safety of all members, and to put in place a mechanism where they were able to keep these firearms where necessary. And as well, also, I went further to say that, to state that they should also work with the Ministry of Interior to work so that they can provide us with, yeah, you allow me to finish first. Sit down. Now, that's what I said. So they will work on that, because, you know, and I further stated that even the checks that the Office of the National Assembly procured for our safety and the general public here, our Sergeant at Arms and his men, they need to be trained, and also so that they effectively carry out their duties. Let them work with the Ministry of Interior to make all those things available and necessary. I want to appeal to members that we draw the curtain here on that matter and then proceed.
Yes, just clarify.
The member for Central Badibu.
Very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in the morning you were very clear, and we all accepted, as you have stated, that please, can you allow me to make my
order?
All right. So in the morning, you stated well that the Office of the Clerk, Interior, they work on it, and you went further to say, even whereas they are going to put their guns in their cars. Do you understand? And everybody accepted that. Now, if you want to say, I will wait until later, no, don't speak in that form. Your statement in the morning was very clear, and we have accepted it. Maintain that. Nothing should change.
Please sit down. And in fact, when the member for Banjul, maybe I have forgotten, or I left some of the, because when I was doing my ruling, it was not in a written form. I was not reading, but I was just, and I believe that the Hansard and the Office of the Clerk, they took note of my ruling. And when the Honorable Member for Banjul South raised that point, I said I made a ruling earlier on, and I sustained that ruling.
Yes, you know, when we look at the section, if you want to translate it, if you look at it, the way we are speaking, we are not speaking as security personnel, because it said any member or person. Now, suppose members are coming here with arms, they can submit it to the Sergeant at Arms for safety. Suppose another person is coming here, they can submit it. But a security personnel who is coming to safeguard a vice president or a minister is not necessarily obliged to enter here. There are corridors, exit points that they can man, not necessarily enter with arms. But security-wise, it doesn't make sense to give their arm to Sergeant at Arms, because they are here for the vice president. You give yeah, I'm speaking so because I'm a security personnel. You cannot give your sergeant, you come with vice president, you give your arms to Sergeant at Arms. If emergency happens, you go for your arms. What would happen? It's not security sensible. What we are saying is, the armed security men have no business inside here. To provide security to the VP or the VIP, they don't have to enter here. All they need to control is the exits and the entrance. There are chairs outside, chairs outside, chairs outside. Let them man those places. And with their arms, you don't have to surrender your arms. You can solely surrender it if you have to enter. That's what the text is saying. So if you are leaving, you go and collect it. But for them, they don't have to surrender it. They can stay outside, because the concern is the chambers. Within the chambers. So they can be in the corridors, control the corridors. Then while the VP is here or the VIP that they are protecting is here, one of them can be here inside unarmed to look at the VIP. But those that are armed can can man the corridors, the exit and entrance points. That's how security happens, but they cannot surrender it. That's the point.
Speaker, motion.
Honorable members, please order. Honorable members, the member for Woolly East, you are speaking to your mic. Please put off your mic. I've made it very clear earlier on, in accordance with that provision in the chambers, and the ruling I made earlier on is in the chambers. The honorable member for Talinding made very, very valid observation. And in my ruling, and in accordance with this provision, those outside, they are not affected. They are not affected. It's in the chambers when you want to come to the chambers. And he is security minded. If the securities are here with the vice president or ministers and they have firearms, if this ruling comes into effect, they will either choose to be outside or to come in. When you are coming in, then you will be affected by that order. But if you are not in, you are within the premises of the assembly, you will not be affected by that order. And our securities at outside, within the premises, and that order for them to work with the Office of the Clerk, with the Ministry of Interior, to guide them and train them to help them effectively use those equipment, that has nothing to do with the chambers. And the Office of the Clerk must work with the Ministry of Interior to get those people here and work with them. Let's proceed. Question number 149 of 2023 by the member for Joshua.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable member is not around, so he has designated me to speak on his behalf. He's not around. So the question reads, Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Minister for Trade, it's on. Oh, okay. It reads, Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Minister for Trade inform this August Assembly whether his ministry has any plans to engage the business community within the Canifing industrial area to complement the government's efforts in constructing roads within those areas?
Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment notes your question. However, the construction of roads is not within the mandate of my ministry, but under the mandate of the Ministry of Works, Transport and Infrastructure. I therefore kindly and humbly propose to the honorable member from Joshua constituency to direct the question appropriately. Thank you.
Honorable members, I want to thank the Honorable Minister for Trade, Regional Integration and Employment for those answers provided to this August Assembly. Office of the Clerk is very hot. I'm not sure what's going on. It's hot, huh? Honorable members, I want to recognize the presence of His Excellency, the Vice President, and Honorable Cabinet Ministers who are here to answer to oral questions. In accordance with Standing Order 14.3, I hereby vary the order paper and invite His Excellency, the Vice President, to take the podium. Clerk.
Questions for oral answers. His Excellency, the Vice President.
Thank you very much. His Excellency, the Vice President, you may take the podium. Questions for which notices were given to His Excellency, the Vice President, by honorable members for oral reply.
Honorable Speaker. Yes. Observation. Honorable Speaker. Yes. Councillor. Yes, as we could see the Vice President limping, I suggest he's not comfortable standing. I don't know if a seat could be provided
Honor-
for him. Yes, as per the look, I don't know where we can assist on that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Your Excellency, you want to sit down? Oh, okay. Question number 106 of 2023 by the member for Banjul South.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, could His Excellency the Vice President inform this August Assembly as to what policy the government has in place to improve the lives and livelihoods of pensioners to ensure they have a decent life after their retirement? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm pleased to inform you that the new Public Service Pensions Act of 2022 replaced the Pensions Act of 1950. This act makes pension contributory, which makes it possible for public servants to be paid enhanced gratuity and pensions.
Honorable member, please, go, if you have supplementary question, proceed.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, he said that they are entitled to enhanced payment, but are those payments in coherence with the cost of living? Because our pensioners are suffering in this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think the difference is that the current Pensions Act is not contributory. That is why pensioners have a low pension. But this time it's now contributory in line with what is happening with the Social Security. That gives them more money at the end of the day. Whether it's in line with cost of living, that's a different matter altogether. It's very difficult to say at this point.
Thank you. So in the Honorable Minister, the Honorable Vice President, can you tell us whether you are going to compensate these people, because it was not their fault that they were not contributing? We are grateful that they've been enhanced, but what can we do to support them? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I think at this point, I'm not sure whether they can be compensated, but government will continue to improve the lot of pensioners.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Member for Kiang West.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. His Excellency, would this policy cover the private sector and that of the parastatals?
The private sector is already covered by the Social Security Act and the parastatals. They are already covered by the Social Security Act. What was not covered was the public officers. I mean, the civil servants were not covered. But this act will now cover the civil servants.
Member for Woolly East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Vice President, the new policy you are talking about, is it you have in mind to use are you using the old pay scale or are you using the present pay scale? Because salaries have gone up, and we know pension is always attached to salaries. So if salaries have gone up now, but those people have retired some 5 years, 10 years, how are they going to really get augmentation through the new policy?
Honorable Speaker, at this point, I would assume that the new act may not cover those that retired before. Maybe, I think, in line with the supplementary question by the Honorable Member for Banjul South, probably government may have to look at those people, how they can cushion their pension. But normally, the new act will cover those who are just retiring, not sort of like backdated.
Member for Fonyi Brefet.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Vice President, are there any plans to increase the payment of the pensioner?
Huh?
Are there any plans to increase the payment of the pension?
Honorable Speaker, like I said, this act hopefully will, the new pensioners will have more money than they used to have previously.
Question number 107 of 2023 by the member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could His Excellency Vice President inform this August Assembly how many government buildings and quarters are situated in Kanifi municipality and how many of them are currently occupied?
Honorable Speaker, the Committee on Office and Residential Accommodation, in collaboration with the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, embarked on an inventory exercise of government buildings nationwide. The exercise revealed that there is a total of 104 buildings within the Kanifi municipality. Out of the above mentioned figure, 96 buildings are occupied while the remaining 8 are vacant.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Out of the 96 that are occupied, I'm sure there are occupied ones that are expatriates and some are government officials. If you can tell us how many government officials are occupied and how many are occupied by the expatriates.
At this, Honorable Speaker, at this point, I cannot give you the exact figures, but I have it in my office. Like I said, the exercise is going on. We are trying to verify because it's the role of government to house some expatriate staff.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
According to what I have learned, there are some buildings, quarters, occupied by non-government officials. And what is the reason, or what are those reasons behind their occupancy of?
Honorable Speaker, I know for certain that there are squatters. There are people who are squatting and they are not given official permission to occupy those buildings. That's why I say the exercise is going on. All right, in actual fact, what we have done is we have written to all of them to give us, to write on a deadline of 1 month to tell us who gave them permission to occupy those quarters. At the end of that exercise, then whoever is rightfully should be there would be there. Whoever is not, should not be there will have to be evicted.
And now invite the member for Kiang West.
Your Excellency, the 8 vacant buildings that you've talked about, how long have they been vacant and where exactly are they located?
Honorable Speaker, I have the details with me later on that we can share, but some of them are actually being renovated, some they are dilapidated. That's why they are vacant. But and that, for your information, that includes the residence of the Vice President, which is actually under renovation.
Member for Upper Salum.
Thank you. Along the lines of unoccupied properties, there are any plans for these properties to be renovated and occupied instead of renting, as your office rent is almost 30 million per year?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. That is one of the biggest headaches of this government, and we are trying to do our best. As we speak, we are discussing with estate agencies to see how we can partner with them so that government, we move away from rent. Hopefully, there are a couple partnerships which is showing promise. But at the end of the day, we want to move away from rent, particularly where you have occupancy which is going to be on a permanent basis.
The member for Woolly East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Vice President, many government buildings, such as teachers' quarters, police quarters, etc., especially, there are others that are roofed with asbestos. What plans does the government have to really renovate those ones and safely keep away the asbestos as they are causing cancer to the Gambian people.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Actually, there was a directive made to remove all those asbestos. And I think government is actually in the process of removing them because definitely they are hazardous. I guess it's just financing that is the issue, but the ruling is all of them should be removed as soon as possible.
Thank you. Question number 108 of 2023 by the member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Section 216 of the 1997 Constitution states that the state shall endeavor to facilitate equal access to clean and safe drinking water, adequate health and medical services, habitable and affordable shelter, sufficient food and security to all persons. Could His Excellency Vice President inform this August Assembly the measures taken by government to realize such development?
Honorable Speaker, the government of the Gambia, in its bid to deliver on the delivery of the above constitutional provision, the government has intervened through the following programs to deliver on the constitutional provision of Section 216. Access to clean and safe drinking water. Honorable Speaker, the government of the Gambia, through the Climate Smart Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Project in 2022, constructed and installed 126 solar-powered water supply systems in rural and peri-urban communities. In partnership with JICA, the project for rural water supply phase 4 from February 22 to November 2023 is constructing new pipe water supply facilities and providing soft components at 20 sites in 5 administrative regions of the country. Finally, through GLF, the government from February to December 2022 funded the construction of 10 solar water supply systems and rehabilitated and upgraded 7 existing water facilities in rural communities. On adequate health and medical services, Honorable Speaker, the government of the Gambia through the Ministry of Health devised several measures to move towards achieving universal health coverage, which will ensure the provision of adequate health and medical supplies to the populace. In line with the National Health Policy 2021 to 2030, the health sector introduced National Health Insurance Scheme aimed at reducing or eliminating out-of-pocket expenditure, as well as increasing access and improving quality of services. Notwithstanding, the Ministry of Health is strengthening the health services in 3 ways, namely, improving on the health infrastructure by expanding, renovating, and upgrading health facilities, and building of new ones across the country to increase access. Procuring adequate equipment, essential medicine, and other supplies, and building capacity to strengthen the health workforce. On habitable and affordable shelter, Honorable Speaker, through Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation, the government is providing housing on affordable means. Social Security have secured land across the country, and they have currently started the process of providing affordable houses and plots in Upper River region, particularly in Yoruba and Nafugan. However, the corporation has successfully established estates in the Greater BANJUL areas, which turned to be one of the well-planned settlements. Further, government has created the enabling environment for private sector partnership to engage on housing schemes. Recently, government in partnership with cooperative credit unions, members are facilitated to acquire affordable shelter. On food sufficiency and security, Honorable Speaker, in endeavoring to facilitate the availability of sufficient food for the population of the Gambia, the government of the Gambia has championed agricultural mechanization and has procured tractors and post-harvest management equipment to support the process. Assorted animal drone small equipment is made available for smallholder farmers to reduce drudgery and increase production and productivity on family farms. In addition, the government is providing affordable inputs such as climate-resilient seeds for both crops and animals and fertilizer, which is highly subsidized. Moreover, government started partnering with the private sector in investing in agricultural production with the aim of increasing local production.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Your Excellency, affordable shelter and sufficient food, if I am to put it to you that it's not realized, what's going to be your take on that?
Sorry, I didn't get the last bit.
Please use your mic, Honorable.
Thank you. What I'm saying is, I said affordable shelter and sufficient food is not realized. What's going to be your take on that?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Yes, it's not realized at this point, but I think in answer to your question, that is, government is working towards it. That is why I mentioned all these partnerships to enable to achieve affordable shelter through Social Security and in partnership with other private estate agencies. The government is also providing support in terms of reduction of subsidizing the fertilizers and also subsidizing the cost of food. Currently, one of the reasons why rice is going down because the agreement that the government has with the government of India, that is enabling the price of rice to go down.
Thank you very much. When you talk of affordable shelter, you talk of the plans that is the social security is taking care of. I'm sure everybody will agree to me that social security takes care of those who are employed. What of the ones that are unemployed?
Honorable Speaker, the ones that are not employed, I don't know how they can get affordable because at the end of the day, everything comes with a cost. So I guess when we say affordable, it means that to reduce the cost. I'm not sure whether the government is in a capacity at this point to provide free shelter for the population. Unless maybe if honorable members would provide the necessary budget, then government can move into that. But I don't think it will be in the near future.
Member for Banjul South, I invite.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Your Excellency, the Vice President, you've listed a number of projects. Can you tell us the percentage of the population in the Gambia that are benefiting from this, please? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, at this point, I cannot tell unless I work with the relevant sectors to give me the details of those who are impacted directly.
Member for Central Baribu.
Yes, thank you very much. Honorable Minister, Honorable Speaker, I want to ask the Honorable Vice President. Sufficient food is difficult to achieve, but you made mention of numerous projects that we thought they could have impacted the life and livelihood of the rural Gambians. Do you really monitor how some of these projects, give supports to the farmers? For example, the seeds, the rice seeds that they distributed, is all going into the soil to grow, or are they consuming it directly?
Honorable Speaker, personally, my office does not monitor that, but I'm aware that all projects come with monitoring and evaluation officers whose role it is to do that monitoring. And I'm assuming that the National Assembly Select Committee on Projects will also be doing the monitoring to make sure that what is proposed in those projects are actually achieved.
I now invite the member for Woolies.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm thinking of the preventive part of our health system. Because if we really want a healthy nation, you need to educate your people. There is already a maxim that to create a healthy nation, you do not build hospitals necessarily. You educate the people to take up healthy lifestyles. So what component of health is the government thinking of developing so that we reduce the disease in the country rather than just depending on medicines which are full of chemicals that are doing harm to us, in another way?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm aware that the Ministry of Health has a health education unit that is regularly, trying to provide education to the populace. But that notwithstanding, I hope the honorable member will also agree that you need to have some basic services. And when we talk about building hospitals and equipment, these are basic services that need to be there. Reduce the distance that the population have to travel to get access to basic health facilities. But that notwithstanding, like I said, the health education unit of the Ministry of Health is also engaged in some health education programs nationwide, either by going to the communities or through radio and television.
The nominated member, Maimuna Sise.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Your Excellency, does the government have any plan or any plan with any corporation to see that they can have a better housing facility for the low-income earners in the country? Because we all know that the country's rental service is very deteriorated in the country. Do you have any plan to make sure that the affordable housing is available for the low-income earners?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think the government plans to continue to support the Social Security and Housing Corporation because that is their mandate, to provide affordable housing to the population, working with the Ministry of Lands to actually provide them land in various parts of the country. But for the government to come directly at this point, because it's not their core mandate. So rather, we'll continue to work with the Social Security to provide that.
The member for Janjamure.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Your Excellency, the Vice President, you did mention in your response that government has started subsidizing on essential goods, that is on rice and essential goods of that kind. What I want to ask here is, we noticed that the cost of rice have actually reduced, but is this cost a uniform cost nationwide, or is just meant for certain enterprises?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Like I mentioned earlier, the cost of rice coming down, this is an agreement that the government of the Gambia has with the government of India, whereby the government of India will actually reducing some export duties for these companies to enable them to provide the rice at a cheaper rate for Gambians. And I think, I don't have the exact figures at this point, but I think they were talking something like 100,000 tons of rice that I think in my recent visit, I'm informed that they have actually approved another 50,000 tons of rice, that some of them are actually on the way. In the next 10 days or so, they'll be arriving in the Gambia. But that's the agreement that we have with the government of India.
Thank you, members and Your Excellency. Question 109 of 2023 by the member for Bundung Kakunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I am authorized by the questioner to read on his behalf.
Please proceed.
Yeah. Okay. Honorable Speaker, it is quite evident that the people of Bundung Kakunda were victims of the flood of the last rainy season. Could His Excellency, the Vice President, tell this August Assembly the plans that the National Disaster Management Agency has in place to mitigate flooding in Bundung Farokono and other highly affected areas of Kanifing municipality?
Honorable Speaker, the government has already approved funding for both National Disaster Management Agency and the Ministry of Transport Works and Infrastructure to the National Roads Authority to clear, dredge, and clean Kotu Stream and associated waterways before the beginning of the 2023 rainy season. In finding permanent solution, government through the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources and partners have recently launched a 5-year West Africa Coastal Area Resilience Project. This project is expected to build a drainage system along the Kotu Stream to mitigate flooding and in communities along the Kotu stream, including Bundu.
The member for Banjul South.
Thank you. Your Excellency, you mentioned the West Africa coastal region, and my constituency is a coastal area. Is it part of the plan to rescue them? Because last year we suffered a lot. Thank you.
Honorable member? Honorable member, can you please repeat your question?
Just the point of order, we are dealing with Farokona, not Banjul.
No, he mentioned a project, so I'm just asking whether it is part of that project. Thank you.
Please, honorable member, you are on a point of order. Please, can we hear the point of order?
Well, the supplementary question should be linked to the substantive question. And then the issue we are dealing with is Farokona. The issue of
Is order sustained?
Not Banjul.
Yes, order sustained. Olyundum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Vice President, from the response you gave, I heard you talk about Bundung. I don't know, because Bundung is very connected to Nemakunku. That is also another disaster hotspot area. I remember during the last rainy season, we also had the same problem. So I don't know whether National Disaster Management Agency were supposed to build a canal for the waterway. Is it the same project that we're talking about with the current project that they have signed? I don't know.
Honorable member for Olyundum, can you please repeat your question?
Thank you. Okay, now what I wanted to ask is, he mentioned about the project that they've just recently signed. And I was told that NDMA was supposed to construct a canal from Nemakunku going down to Bundung. That is the canal you're talking about, to Kotu stream. So I'm just trying to confirm whether is it the same project, because the canal is what we told our people. So I just want to confirm from the Vice President. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The Waka project is concentrating on the whole Kotu stream, itself. NDA is in collaboration. MDMA is in collaboration with the Minister of Natural Resources and Environment. Yes, doing that together with the National Roads Authority. Yes.
Member for Sandu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. How soon do we expect the drainage work along the Kotu stream to start? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Work has already started by the NDMA on the Kotu stream by cleaning. What we have done, the project itself has not started, but funds have been provided for NDMA to start cleaning the Kotu stream, so that for this rainy season it will lessen the impact.
I now invite the member for Pakao.
I have the same concern with the member for Sandu. It's been addressed. My concern has been addressed.
Please, Professor, sit down. Thank
no,
you.
It's okay.
Thank you. The member for Talinding Kunjang.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Since the question is referring to Bundung, Farokono, and other highly affected areas of Kanifi municipality, so automatically I'm also included, Talinding. Yes. And then you've mentioned plans with regards to this question, just around Kotu and others. So what about the swampy corridors from Old Joshua up to Abuko, including Talinding area? What plans do you have to mitigate floods around that end? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Actually, as we speak, work is already going on around those areas. And earlier on this morning, I had led a delegation to go around to look at all of those areas, including Ibo Town, and Abuko. Yes. And Talinding, yes. Yes.
Thank you very much, Excellency, Mr. Vice President, for those answers provided to this August Assembly. Thank you so much. Clerk.
Questions for oral answer. by the Honorable Minister for Tourism and Culture.
Thank you. The Minister for Tourism and Culture, can you please take the podium? Anamu. Questions for which due notices were given to the Honorable Minister for Tourism and Culture by honorable members for oral reply. Question number 172 of 2023 by the member for Upper Salum.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, domestic tourism has been a success in many countries, contributing immensely to their economies. Would the Honorable Minister for Tourism and Culture explain to this August Assembly the current plans they have in support of such a venture in the Gambia?
Let me first of all seize the opportunity to thank you and thank honorable members for according me the opportunity to answer my questions, because we have another ceremony which our farmers and livestock dealers who are waiting since 5 o'clock for us to join them. And I appreciate this gesture on behalf of the Vice President to the entire House. Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, following the devastation caused by COVID-19, we are rethinking tourism also, formulating strategies in tandem with the tourism stakeholders to boost domestic tourism. In this regard, we are encouraging tourism and hospitality outfits to roll out new attractive packages and products specifically targeting the domestic tourist. This is critical given that the orientation of Gambian tourism and the overall bundle of packages and offers are designed primarily for the international visitors. As such, the Gambia Tourism Board and the tourism stakeholders are also working on a Ninki Nanka trail to make the excursions and upriver tours even more interesting and exciting in terms of what to see and what to do. Connecting with the ecologists and the communities. This is even more the reason why the World Bank Tourism Diversification and Resilience Project is also poised to undertake an assessment of the sites upriver and to fix some of the jetties along the river Gambia with a view to creating a more conducive enabling environment for domestic tourists to explore the tourism facilities and ecologies upriver. Cognizance of the fact that the pricing was going to be a key variable in this drive, the Gambia Tourism Board, in tandem with the tourism fraternity, is encouraging tourism services providers to revisit the price structure of various services and products to suit the domestic tourist. Honorable Speaker, at this juncture, I wish to point out that the Smiling Coast is endowed with a range of trendy tourism and hospitality outfits suited with various amenities and hospitality hotspots in terms of bars, restaurants, hotels, ecologies in country, not to mention the many heritage and attraction sites across the country, including the majestic River Gambia and meandering tributaries. Therefore, the Gambia Tourism Board is also trying to work with the public institutions and NGOs and private sector to see how best to come up with exciting programs and encouraging their employees to undertake domestic tourism. Towards this end, attractive tourism packages and promotional campaign will be rolled out by the hospitality and tourism sector, targeting this brand new target segment, thereby increasing rich scope and impact of tourism.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, would the Honorable Minister confirm with all these processes they have in place to attract domestic tourism, are they backed by any scientific evidence to confirm that this is exactly what the domestic tourists actually are looking for?
Can you repeat? I missed that question, the second part of the question.
I'm asking whether, with all these processes you want to put in place to encourage domestic tourism, are they backed by any scientific evidence, where you do a survey or a research for people to confirm that this is what we want to have?
Yes, indeed, Honorable Member for Upper Salem, they are backed by scientific evidence. One policy we want to adopt, we are discussing with the stakeholders to make sure that they come out with packages to encourage Gambians who have disposable income, who want to be tourists in their own country, as we have in Senegal and many other parts of Africa. However, if they fail to do so, we have every right to have our own packages created. I know of countries in the sub-region where when you have a national passport, you have a different price from those who have foreign passports. And we will not hesitate to impose that in this country, but we want to negotiate with them at this time to encourage them to see that it's our common interest, both government and those to be tourists and also those who own tourist facilities, to allow Gambians to give them an opportunity to be tourists in their own country. We started seeing positive effect in that. That is, the facilities like APCAS and some very important facility in Basse, Kudang, and other parts of the Gambia are emerging very well. But again, government need to come up with some measures to support, particularly when it comes to transportation, because it's difficult and expensive for you to drive your car, because once you take your car with your family, you will think about hosting a driver to add on top of your budget. So we are devising a system where we will be able to have comfortable buses that can transport Gambians to any part of the country they may want to visit with their families. And by extension, our lodges that we are building, the Sotimasare lodge is completed, and we hopefully the Bara one will soon be completed. And I believe that would add value to these facilities that Gambians want to enjoy.
There is a point of order by the member for Nyame Dankunku.
No, he was.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Just to remind the Honorable Minister, you have 1 or 2 minutes to respond. Now, the last question I have supplementary is, you talk about the World Bank project that is going on in the ministry. Would this project be willing to work with the private sector, for example, in the provision of river transport and other avenues for children playing grounds, etc., across the country?
The project have special TOR approved by the World Bank and the government of the Gambia. Indeed, their major stakeholders will be the private sector, no doubt about it.
Member for Banjul South.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister is an expert in Parliament, so Honorable Speaker, growing up in Gambia, I enjoyed growing up in Gambia and coming from URR, I enjoyed the Lady Chile going up to my family base in Basse. Is the Honorable Minister thinking of bringing that back to our country? Thank you.
I wish to inform the member for Banjul South that government is doing everything possible to make sure that the beauty of River Gambia is once again at the doorstep of Gambians. We're discussing with prospective investors from various parts of the world, particularly South Africa. However, there must be some amendments under the GPA Act to attract foreign investors in the Gambia rivers. And government have taken note of that, and efforts are on the way to make sure that is done.
I now invite the member for Woolly East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Member, Minister, help us to prioritize the plans that you have mentioned? Have you actually prioritized all these plans we have said? Can you just give us 3 plans that we can hold on? Because the question is dealing with the current plans. 3 plans that we can hold on and then monitor your ministry.
One is to make sure that it's affordable, available, affordable. That's number one. That's the price for these people. Number 2 is to make sure that the facilities are there. They must be to standard that Gambians can enjoy with their families and children and have good, memorable holidays that they always think to going back. Number 3 is to facilitate the process of getting to these facilities.
Member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister. When we talk of domestic tourism, I'm sure it's been indicated in your answer that it's your long-time plan as a ministry for it to happen. How committed are you as a ministry to see to it that this thing happens very soon?
Very much, my dear friend, honorable member for Bakau constituency. Let me give you back a little bit of history that I've made clear to this assembly. The Gambia was left out. Other countries were being supported by the World Bank. This country and government felt that we have every opportunity and every right to be part of that process of those nations that we are supported. We presented, I led a delegation, presented a very strong case to the World Bank, and that case was bought in. Therefore, the tourism sector got the biggest portfolio ever in the World Bank with our 56 years of membership of the World Bank. And part of that project, I can tell you, would be to make sure that our regional and domestic tourism become key in making sure that we do not rely only in our international source markets. And if you realize, during the COVID pandemic, the countries that recovered fast were those that believe and had strong domestic tourism. In Africa, it was Kenya, and in Europe, it was Portugal. These countries recovered rapidly because their people move around their country. And that's why the Gambia have foreseen crisis of this nature as far back as November 2019 of a situation that may disrupt our international source market. And by March, we were in that situation. And that's why we started thinking of building lodges, making sure that we create the facilities and making sure we work with our neighboring counterparts, sign agreements. Last year alone, we received almost 5,000 Senegalese tourists to this country. And we are now, as we speak this morning, I inaugurated a workshop of which the members of parliament of this August.
Point of order, please.
There is a point of order from the member for Janjambure.
Yes, I want to rise on section 43 and subsection 3 that the time taken to ask a supplementary question shall be no longer than 1 minute, and the answer to a supplementary question shall be no longer than 2 minutes. And I think the minister has given us a history which seems to take a lot of time. Thank you.
Order noted. Honorable Minister, answers to supplementary questions should not be more than 2 minutes. Proceed, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, when you speak to this House, you speak nothing but the truth. And I cannot give half-truth. I need to give this august body. The respectable august body must be given the relevant and accurate information. And that's why I'm giving you these facts. Now, as we speak this morning, I've inaugurated a workshop that is ready to immediately start implementing some of this program to promote domestic and regional tourism. We'll be filing a team of Gambians, businessmen, tourism sector stakeholders, and members of this assembly to Nigeria in the next 2 weeks.
Point of order.
Thank you.
Point of order. There is a point of order by the member for Kiang West.
Rising on the same order 43.3. This is a rule that every minister follows, and I think Honorable Minister for Tourism should also respect our rules. Should also respect our rules, more especially when we call on order.
Honorable member for Kiang West.
Speaker rules. Honorable Speaker, he is speaking
Mr.
on me.
Speaker, I agree with the honorable member for Kiang West.
Honorable Minister, please allow him to finish.
When we raise an order, Honorable Speaker speaks. Honorable Minister is also speaking over that he is going to do what he wants to do, and that is not in order.
Point of order noted. Honorable Minister and honorable members, let's note on supplementary questions and answers. Thank you. The member for Janjambure.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and also thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for coming. On domestic tourism, Honorable Minister, I believe you will agree with me that we have an authentic and undiluted product in the Gambia. And my question here is, when do you think the Ministry of Tourism and Culture shall kickstart in engaging Gambians to start experiencing the local products that we have, more especially the working class. Maybe you could start with the members of the National Assembly to have at least a taste of the Gambian product. And apart from that, we could also start with the way Batil Hardin and Amina Saho has done in
There is a point of order from the member for Woolly East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The point of order is supplementary questions should not take more than 1 minute.
Order,
And
order. Honorable member for Woolly East, your order sustained. The member for Janjambure violated his own point of order, which he rested. I'm not sure if you finish your question, member for Janjambure.
Well, I don't think so. Let me just start it.
Honorable Minister, I'm not sure if you can answer his question.
I can make it very short and precise. Honorable Minister, my question here is, when do your ministry plan to engage Gambians to embark on domestic tourism? Thank you.
We have engaged Gambians on domestic tourism as far back as 2017. And today I can assure you most Gambians are going on holidays in their own country. And I can refer you to certain facilities. When you go there, you see Gambians and their children, their families enjoying the beauty of this country.
And I invite the member for Banjul Central.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, based on Honorable Member for Upper Salom's supplementary question with regards to is it scientifically proven, like the evidence? You said it was. Can you elaborate more on that?
It is indeed scientifically proven. I don't have the data with me on the spot, but if you so insist, I can give it to you.
Senator.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, could you kindly refer us to the areas that you mentioned in your deliberation that Gambians do go on holiday? Thank you.
What's your constituency? Mentoring. Yeah, you have a lot of Gambians who have facilities within your constituency, and they go there on holiday weekends, and they enjoy them. I cannot tell you all the off head, but I know that in Mentoring constituency, you have places where Gambians go on holidays and enjoy themselves.
Please,
I can provide you with the list. If you don't know the tourism facility in your constituency, I can provide you the list for it.
Please, Honorable Minister, don't engage with conversation with them.
Speaker noted. Thank you.
Question number 173 of 2023 by the member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Minister for Tourism and Culture update this August Assembly about Mungo Park project in Karantaba, CRR North?
Let me thank the Honorable Member for Sami constituency for asking such a very important question. The National Center for Arts and Culture, the NCAC, entered into a contract with the Ture Construction Company Limited for the sum of 4.2 million to refurbish the Mungo Park Memorial Obelisk, including a side museum and visitors' convenience. 60% of the works and material mobilization has been done. The NCAC is unable to meet its financial obligation to the contractor as agreed. This has delayed works. Urgent effort is being made as we speak to pay the contractor through the ministry to complete works on this site, on this project.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, what is the duration of this contract?
I cannot tell you the duration of this contract because I have not seen it, but I do know that the delay was because the contractor was not fully paid. And my ministry have engaged the Ministry of Finance, and hopefully in the next 2 weeks, this matter will be resolved.
Minister, when was this contract signed?
I believe it was last year. I stand to be corrected on the accuracy of the date.
Thank you. I now invite the member for Banjul North.
Honorable Speaker, I think my question has been answered already. It has to do with the duration and why is it taking too long for the completion, but he has already answered it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now invite the member for Woolly East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, Mongo Park sites are in many places. So is your ministry thinking of replicating this project in some other areas like Willy Fatoto, Fatatenda, where Mongo Park rests every time he comes to the Gambia?
I assure you, Honorable Member for Woolly East, our ministry is committed and we are working on it. We have done Kerbach, we have done Wasu, we're doing Mongo Park, and all other sites, inshallah, will be done to maintain these facilities for Gambian children yet unborn to see and to learn the importance of these sites.
I now invite the member for Kiang West.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Minister, has the delayance of these payments has any financial implication on the project cost?
I may not know for now.
The member for Bakau, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, this August body will be very much interested to know which month and date this said contract was signed.
I can easily get you that by tomorrow morning because the contract documents are with the NCAC.
The member for Brikama North and Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, in your response, you did state the NCAC is unable to meet its financial obligation. Why so?
Because we were not given the allocation by the Ministry of Finance at the material time to meet up our financial obligation with the contract.
I now give the floor to the member for Tumanna.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, is this contract includes the construction of the road because the Mungo Park site there is too far from the main road? Thank you.
Speaker, let me say to the member for Tumanna constituency, it is not part of it, but I read the report submitted by the Tourism Sports Select Committee of the National Assembly. In your report, you have highlighted the importance of getting that road fixed, and I've taken up that matter seriously, and I'll be consulting my partners in making sure that road is done. Thank you.
Question number 174 of 2023 by the member for Serekunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Minister for Tourism update this August Assembly on the state of the World Bank grant meant for the startup program of SMEs within the tourism industry?
Honorable Speaker, the World Bank grant of $68 million received for tourism diversification and resilience project in the Gambia became effective on the 3rd October 2022, and since then the Ministry of Tourism has been very busy establishing the right governance and operations mechanism to ensure that the project is implemented according to legal agreement signed between the government and the project appraisal document approved by the World Bank.
Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister.
Yes, please.
Please, Honorable Minister, there's point of order or, yeah, the member for Upper Salon, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move a motion for us to sit beyond 6 o'clock.
And do what? Honorable Minister, you may take your seat and do what?
And to finish the business of the day.
Any seconder? The member for Sami?
Thank you. I rise to second the motion.
Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that this assembly sit beyond 6 o'clock to finish business for today. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, you may start answering.
Honorable Speaker, the World Bank grant $68 million received for tourism diversification resilient project in the Gambia became effective 3rd October 2022, and since then the Ministry of Tourism has been busy establishing the right governance and operational mechanism to ensure that the project is implemented according to the legal agreement signed by the government and the project appraisal document approved by the World Bank. Part of Component 1 deals with increasing the participation of tourism micro, small, and medium enterprises within the sector. A study on tourism MSME data collection and ecosystem analysis has been completed, and it was one of the 4 studies to be done in the project to ensure we will act based on empirical evidence. The study was validated on Friday, 26 May, and covered by the media. The next step will include the development of a matching grant manual and the hiring of a management firm that will be responsible to build the capacity of the identified MSMEs based on agreed processes and approved manual. Kindly note that the $5 million is the amount from the total grant that will be available for provision of matching grant to MSMEs. While respecting Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable member, no supplementary question from you. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, point of order.
Point of order. Yeah, there is point of order by the member for Fonyi Bintang Krana. Can we hear your point of order, sir?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise on a point of order 53K, which reads a motion agreed by the Speaker to be a matter of urgency. I think it is, I rise to move this motion that the standing orders, we agree upon a common goal to regulate the conduct of the ministers if they are responding, if they are their body gesture, if they are responding to questions.
Honorable member for honorable member, you are out. No, Minister, wait, please. Order. Honorable member for Fonyi Bintang Krana, you are out of order. I now give the floor to the member for Fonyi Jarol.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, Minister of Tourism is one of the important sectors of the country, as it contributes almost 12% of our GDP. Okay, more than that. Honorable Minister, what the country needs at the moment is translating plans into action. It's not all about coming here to give plans. Tourism at the moment, if you look at the real GDP, it is contributing, it has dropped.
Honorable there is point of order by the member for Woodley East.
Point of order, 43-3. 1 minute. Not more than 1 minute.
Point of order.
Not more than 1 minute. Supplementary question.
Please. Honorable members, let's please ensure that our supplementary questions are within 1 minute. But before I come to your question, there's a point of order from the member for Fonyi Bintang Krana.
With this, I withdraw.
Member for Fonyo Jarol.
Thank you once again, Honorable Speaker and the Honorable Minister. What I want to say is the Minister of Tourism is one of the most important sectors of the country, as it contributes about 12% of our GDP or more than, just as you said. Just what I want to tell you now, what the country needs now is translation of those plans into action.
Honorable Member.
Honorable Minister, do you have the capabilities?
Honorable Member, please take your seat, sir. You are not here to tell him what you want to tell him. You are given the floor to ask your supplementary question. Please ask your supplementary question.
Do you have the capabilities and the resources to transform our tourism industry into a modern sector?
It's a new question, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a new question. I want the honourable member to send a fresh question for an answer for this question.
There is a point of order from the member for Woolly East.
Yes, thank you. Honorable Speaker, 43.4. A supplementary question shall not be in order if it introduces matters not included in the original question. The original question is about the World Bank grant for SMEs. And the honorable member is going into some other things.
Thank you, honorable member for Woolly East. Order sustained. In fact, I was about to rule out his question and the honorable minister on his mic. And your order is sustained and his question is ruled out. Member for Woolly East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, would the Honorable Minister help us to know the targeted number of businesses, small businesses, in this grant? And what is the expected number of jobs that
One question, only one question.
Mr. Speaker, I want to tell the honourable member for Woolly East, I don't have that. But the World Bank project is in the internet, all over the world. You can read it, you can see it. Such figures are not with me, but they are in the project website. Everything is open in this project. And when you get to that, I will avail you the website, and then you can go through to answer this question by yourself. I don't have them offhand. I can get you the information where you can access this website to have all the information.
The member for Kiang West.
Honorable Minister, how much have you spent from this project?
I don't have the figures as we speak. This money does not come as the bulk it is. It comes on phases. But I can give you that information if you send us a fresh question for it.
The member for Sanementre.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, could you tell us, or could you inform this August Assembly how many phases does this project come, and so far how many phases do you receive? What is the balance thing?
Well, I can tell you that it's in 5 years. We're in year 1. So we have 4 more years to go, and year 1 is not completed. I cannot tell you exactly how many phases, but I can tell you 5 years.
Honorable Minister, each member is entitled to 1 supplementary question. When you answer, ignore their murmuring and their follow-up questions. Honorable Member for Bakau.
Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, you've indicated that funds come in phases. Can you tell us how much do you receive for the first phase?
I don't have it offhand.
Speaker, observation.
Observation?
Yes.
Who are you observing?
Huh?
Who do you want to observe?
I want to suggest that if we could be provided with this information that we are asking, hence the minister could not provide them offhand and instantly. That's my request through your office.
Yes, I think I heard him. One of the answers he will provide. The Honorable Minister will provide. Honorable Minister, please provide those answers.
The clerk, Mr. Speaker, send us this request in writing. We will respond immediately. Various questions asked on this matter. I cannot memorize them. Let me have them in writing and we'll respond.
Honorable Minister, please don't answer to questions they ask when they are not given.
Honorable Minister should patiently listen and wait for the Honorable Speaker to rule on observations or motion before directly responding to members' comment by way of parliamentary procedure.
Honorable Majority Leader, fully noted. Thank you. Minority Leader, not Majority, Minority Leader, fully noted.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Can we hear the point of order from the member for Bintankaranai?
Thank you. Point of order 43. 1. Supplementary questions may be put for the purpose of elucidating an oral answer. These questions are put before the minister, but the minister is not giving us any answer.
Honorable member, the minister, you remember when you ask question, is for him to answer, and here he can only give answers what he think at the time he have. And if he tells you that he don't have the whatever you may request from him at this material time, that's all he could do. No. Thank you, Honorable Minister for Tourism and Culture, for those answers provided to this August Assembly. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I thank honorable members and you are very sorry. Thank you.
Clerk.
Questions for oral answer by the Honorable Minister for Health.
Honorable Minister for Health, you may take the podium. Questions for which due notices were given to the Honorable Minister for Health by Honorable Members for oral answer. Another question. Which page? Question number 122 of 2023 by the member for Brikama North. Order, please, order.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Brikama District Hospital is experiencing drug shortages, and the general conditions in the hospital, especially in the admission wards, are so deplorable and requires immediate attention of the ministry. Could the Honorable Minister of Health inform this August Assembly of the ministry's plan to immediately address this situation facing the hospital?
Thank you very much, distinguished Honorable Speaker and Honorable members. I wish to inform the Honorable Member of Brikama North constituency that the drug shortage issue at the Brikama General Hospital has long been addressed. The hospital always receives its drug supplies from the regional drugstore. In addition to that, there is always procurement of essential drugs from the RBF subsidies. I also want to inform the Honorable Member that with the RBF funds available, a lot of work has been done to upgrade the standards of the health facility. A lot of work has been carried out in the recent past at the facility, which has seen the theaters, labor wards, and a few other wards upgraded. The on-call rooms have also been upgraded. The whole facility has been assessed for renovation, but the cost was too high, and it was thought that building a new facility will be more prudent. The World Bank has agreed to fund the construction and equipping of a new 200-bed hospital in Brikama. The concept design has been done. The architectural design is being done currently. A plot of land is already identified for the construction of the facility, even though this process took a while. The most definitive solution is the construction of a new facility to cater for the needs of the people of Brikama and surroundings. Thank you.
Member for Brikama North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. You did say that the drug shortage has long been addressed. However, it will be of interest to note that many times patients will be given prescriptions and they will ask that the drugs are not available, they should go to the nearby pharmacy to buy. When did exactly this drug shortage, as you claim, has been addressed specifically?
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. The issue of supplies, as we know, the facility has been getting supplies from the central medical stores, and the facility also has the RBF funds, which I'm going to summarize for you, for procurement of drugs as and when they are needed. So it is a continuous process. The fact that they have funds to deal with the issue, that's why we said it has been addressed. Now, just for the interest of the Honorable Member and Honorable Assembly members, the Brikama had never been part of the RBF facility. Now, they started in 2021. In the third quarter of 2021, Brikama received over $6.9 million of RBF funds. In the second quarter, they received $3.7 million. In 2022, the first quarter, they received $4 million, a little over that. In the second quarter, $3.2 million, a little over that too. In the third quarter, $3.4 million. In the fourth quarter, $4.1 million. And in the first quarter of this year, $3.8 million. So they've received a total of $24,133,273.93. Out of this, 60%, which is $14.49 million, is supposed to be spent on improving the health facility and buying essential drugs. 40%, that's over $9.6 million, is shared amongst the staff as bonuses. This is the World Bank arrangement. So it will surprise any of us, the fact that Brikama wasn't getting these funds at all. Now, within 1.5 years, they got $14.4 million for renovation and upgrading the facility and ensuring that any drugs that are missing are provided. It will surprise us all that it is not there. So we would enhance our monitoring, and we appeal to Honorable Member also, all of you, to support us in monitoring these facilities, because with the RBF arrangement, the facilities are given the leverage to manage these funds. They don't want much interference directly from the ministry. That's the arrangement, so that these facilities can ensure that they have a say in how they use those funds. So monitoring is very important, so we'll continue the process of monitoring to ensure that these funds are utilized well. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, it is one thing to get the supplies to your, whether regional or district stores, but another for them to distribute to the respective hospitals. Do you have inspecting units or monitoring units that report? And if so, how often do they report to you?
Thank you very much. The monitoring units do not report directly to me. There are a series of channels of reporting. The Directorate of Pharmaceutical Services is there. The Directorate of Health Services is there. They report to these line directorates. And I have not gotten reports of shortage of essential medicines in Brikama. But nonetheless, that doesn't mean that, as you emphasize, that is not happening. So we will endeavor, but in preparation for this question and answer session, we did ask and we did follow up with them, and we were reassured that those shortages were not happening. That's the information we got. But nonetheless, the monitoring will continue. But when drugs get to the regional medical stores, they have a distribution pattern. But sometimes the consumption is more than what would have been allocated for that period. So the onus typically lies on the health facility to make further requests, because it's a pull system and not a push system. They are given as and when they need the drugs. Thank you.
Remember for Fonye Bintang Karanai.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, as the question read, admission wards are so deplorable and require urgent attention. I was there in 2020, and the condition remain. There are funds that are not functioning. Should we be waiting for the World Bank on this matter? And the bed nets are also another issue. Nets. The bed nets are another issue.
Honorable Member, please ask your supplementary question.
My supplementary question is, I re-ask, the funds there are having issues and they are not functioning. Only few funds are functioning. Are you waiting for the World Bank project to come for that?
Well, as it was mentioned here over and over yesterday, health services and provision of health services is not cheap. So it's an issue of resources in many of the instances. So we are not waiting for World Bank, but we do with what we have as resources allocated by your honorable selves here. Of course, occasionally we have issues of attitude, because if you have an institution that has electricians, it has plumbers, it has welders, and so on and so forth. If funds are not working, they should deal with those. And each health facility has a leadership. Each health facility has an in charge. You have medical directors, CEOs, and the chain of people who are responsible for those. Certainly, they don't come here to answer questions, but they have a big role to play. And, we will, inshallah, ensure that they do what they are supposed to do. Thank you.
I now invite the member for Sanementre.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, having monitored the amount given to the hospital as stated, which is 24-point-something million dollars, could you kindly tell us how much is spent on essential drugs as stated? Thank you.
On which hospital, Brikama?
Okay. So typically, they are supposed to spend 60% of whatever disbursements they get for the health facility. Now, that 60%, part of it is used for essential drugs, and part of it for renovations and so on. So as I speak, I cannot tell you exactly what went in for essential drugs and what went for renovations, but we can provide that information. Yeah.
I now give the floor to the member for Wulde East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, there is a practice that personnel at the health centers also engage in selling drugs, which may have a negative effect on drug shortage. Does your ministry have any mechanism in monitoring the situation to ensure that that does not occur?
Thank you very much. Once in a while, we hear those allegations and we try to follow them up. We've not caught anyone doing so yet. But if we do, the consequences will be dire because it's totally unacceptable. The ministry has the regional directors who are responsible for provision of health services, the administration in the regions. And they have various officials who are responsible for monitoring. We have central level monitors, and we have actually the Directorate of Pharmaceutical Services that goes on monitoring visits. But typically when these horrible acts are committed, they hide them if they do at all. They hide them, and sometimes it's difficult for officials to see. It's the people in the community who get to know. And we'll be very appreciative if those people in the communities alert us in good time for us to deal with the issues accordingly. Thank you.
Question number 123 of 2023 by the member for Basse.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Minister for Health update this August Assembly on the status of the 400 by 400 land allocated for the Basse District Hospital?
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I wish to inform the Honorable Member of Basse constituency that the Minister of Health has received the documents of the 300 by 200 by 300 by 200 land allocated for the construction of the new Basse District Hospital from the Ministry of Lands, and its designs and contract negotiation for the construction is in progress. The 400 by 400 land was not eventually allocated. Thank you.
Member, if you have supplementary questions, please proceed.
Honorable Minister, with this land allocation, was the compensation done accordingly by the members?
What?
By the owners?
Honorable Member, you are talking about to update no, you're talking about land allocation, and now you're talking about compensation. No.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Any other supplementary question?
Honorable Minister, could you tell us whether the Minister of Local Government have finalized with this ownership of the land and giving it back to you, hand it over to you?
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Of course, the land has some history, and the Honorable Member and ourselves had discussed that a few times. But from what we've been told, the portion allocated, there were no compensation issues. That's why it was straight away allocated to us. To extend it to 400 by 400, there will then emerge the compensation issues. That's why that has not been touched yet. So the plan is subsequently to get it expanded to the 400 by 400 when the issues of compensation would have been discussed and agreed on. Thank you.
Question number 124 of 2023 by the member for Janjamure.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Minister of Health explain to this August Assembly the cause or causes of the recent death of 17 children under 5 years at the Serekunda General Hospital?
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I wish to inform the Honorable Member of Janjambure constituency that the cause of the recent deaths of 17 children are variable. The causes are variable, such as sepsis, gastroenteritis, and meningitis. I wish to inform the Honorable Member that in hospital practice, we monitor the pattern of presentation of patients to the hospital. Some of these patients came in with severe symptoms and succumbed within 24 hours. Since we have a robust surveillance system with surveillance officers now posted to all the hospitals, we decided to investigate to be sure that we are not dealing with an outbreak. The information we have so far indicates that it was not an outbreak. We wish to use the opportunity to appeal to people to go to hospital early before the symptoms worsen. Thank you.
Honorable Member, if you have supplementary question, proceed.
Thank you very much for that response, Honorable Minister. If I may ask again, do you have any measures in place to avert the ministry from experiencing such a mortality?
Thank you very much. Of course, sicknesses do occur in human beings. That's part of life. But when they do occur, one important step is to get to a health facility early for diagnosis and for treatment. But occasionally there are delays in presentation because people would have been having other medications at home, sometimes traditional, sometimes orthodox. For various factors, people's health-seeking behaviors are different. So when that happens and the disease worsens and they get to the health facility, sometimes in as much as the health workers try their best, sometimes they are unable to save some of those lives. So what we do is the families, the individuals have a role to play in ensuring that health services are sought as quickly, as urgently as possible. And when they get to the facility workers do their best to make urgent diagnosis and treatment. So it's a comprehensive thing. We wish to continue doing our best for patients when they get to the health facilities, but we also encourage the people in the communities to come to the health facilities as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, with the death of the 17 children, was AKI involved or not? Thank you.
From the
Honorable Member, you are introducing new element to that question.
Can I come back, Honorable Speaker?
No, sir.
We're talking about the death of 17 children, so no. I don't think I have actually bring in anything new.
I agree, sir. We are also talking about...
And I think you address me as Honorable Dance.
Honorable? As?
Address me as Honorable, not sir.
All right, Honorable Member, sir. That question is ruled out. The member for Kiang West.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Minister, haven't these 17 children gotten their meningitis vaccinations during, before their death?
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member, I cannot ascertain to say who got and who didn't get. But most of these people would have gotten their routine meningitis vaccines. Those that succumb to meningitis, we can verify. I'm not sure as I speak to you. But vaccination is very good, but it doesn't mean that the chances of getting meningitis are zero. But the good thing is that the surveillance picked this up to look into it. So the good thing about having a robust surveillance system is you pick things early and you go into the communities to find out what might have caused this, and so that you can act as soon as possible. Thank you.
And I invite the member for Banjul South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We applaud the diligence of the ministry and the health sector to make sure that it didn't turn to an endemic. But what was the time frame within which those children died? 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month? Can you tell us, please?
Kindly repeat that for me, Mr.
Honourable Member, please speak a bit louder.
Sorry, what was the time frame of those deaths, those 17 deaths? Was it 1 week, 1 month, 2 weeks?
I can confirm. I knew before. It's escaped my mind now, but I think it's within a month or so. Yeah, 1 month. Yeah.
I now invite a member for Woolly East. Or are withdrawn? The member for Sanementreng.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, do you or your office have any provision of sensitizing parents on this meningitis or whatsoever sickness, especially the young ones that are delivering now?
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. The Health Communication Unit is very active, and they've been going around the communities and talking to people, caregivers, and equally speaking, talking to the mothers who go to attend antenatal services and other services in the hospitals. and they also carry out radio and television talk shows. So the communication bit they are quite active, but nonetheless, we endeavor to have more health talks, to have more community sensitization, and very soon we'll also go back to having the loudspeakers on vehicles that go into the communities when there are issues so that they can make announcements, because we realize that that has been very effective to spread the messages across wide areas within a short time. Thank you.
Nominated member Maimuna Sise, I invite.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, does your health facility has provided any sort of monitoring concerning regards to these incidents coming in? 17 children at a time within a period of 1 month is too much. We were expecting that at least the first health facility need to have a monitoring service towards the health centers.
Nominated member, can you please go straight to your question?
Sorry. My question is that the health facility is providing any information or any surveillance on any nearest health centers or health facilities to make sure that such a occurrence don't happen on a serious note.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominated Member. Honorable Speaker, the surveillance system is very robust and they are very alert. That's why they picked this. So how this even happened, it was actually a surveillance thing. But as the surveillance communications were going on, someone took the issue to the media. And then that's how it came out. But really, it's a surveillance thing. Hospital deaths, when you see a pattern, people come within a short period. You want to know why is that happening. When you rule out everything, then you say probably they've been coming to hospital late. So other facilities are also aware, and the other surveillance officers are all aware. They have a surveillance network where all this is communicated, and they are all monitoring it as much as possible. Thank you.
Question number 125 of 2023 by the member for Kiang West.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, Kiang Karantaba Health Center has been seriously dilapidated for over a decade and has not been rendering better health services for far too long. Could the Honorable Minister for Health update this August Assembly on government's plan to renovate the said health center?
Honorable Speaker, I wish to inform the Honorable Member of Kiang West constituency that the Kiang Karantaba Health Center is among the World Bank project facilities that are going to be renovated soon. Honorable Speaker, I wish to inform the Honorable Member that the Ministry has provided the facility with 2 brand new generators with support from the People's Republic of China through the Chinese Embassy in the Gambia. A number of new equipment, including an ultrasound scanner, X-ray machines, an ambulance, etc., will also soon be provided through the support of the Chinese government. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister, the last time I visited the health center, I was told that the generators are available, but the fueling is still a problem. I don't know if this problem could be solved immediately.
Thank you, Honorable Member. We will discuss with our team so that they continue to provide adequate fuel. But yet still, the issue of resources, because they'll be using the generator longer than the others since there's no electricity. So we will also discuss with them so that part of the RBF funds they get, they also utilize it for the fuel. Thank you.
Question number 126. Oh, okay. The member for Woolly is?
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Minister, as you know, health centers, using generators at health centers is a thing that we want to put aside because of the fume that it is generating. It's not good for the patients. would your ministry consider replacing those generators with solar panels to avoid the infection that it may cause? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Fortunately, Karantaba is getting electricity. That's good news. The Kiang, that part of Kiang is now getting electricity. But in addition to that, thank you. In addition to that, there is this EU Gambia government solarization project that's going to solarize 100 health facilities. So that's going to solarize the majority of our health centers. Thank you.
Member for Sami.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, in this health center, is there enough personnel there?
Thank you very much. Honorable Member, Honorable Speaker, in the whole world now, I don't think there's any health facility that has enough personnel in the whole world. Even the West, they are struggling with personnel. That's why they keep on taking from our facilities. So we don't have enough. But we try to increase, and so that means the personnel we have will have to work extra hard to ensure that services are provided. But what we are doing is building capacity. We've increased the intake of our training schools, and we've expanded this training school in Basse, in Bansang and Mansakonko to accommodate those new intakes. Thank you.
Question number 126 of 2023 by the member for Banjul South.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, could the Honorable Minister for Health inform this August Assembly the number of women that died as a result of maternal mortality from 2020 to date, compared with the previous 5 years before 2020, and what is being done to prevent such unwarranted deaths? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I wish to inform the Honorable Member of Banjul South constituency that our health indicators are amongst the best in the sub-region. In 2015, the country had a maternal mortality ratio of 625 per 100,000 live births. And in 2017, the country recorded a maternal mortality ratio of 597 per 100,000 live births, according to the internationally comparable maternal mortality ratio estimates by the Maternal Mortality Estimation Interagency Group, comprising of WHO, UNICEF, UNFPA, World Bank, the World Bank Group, and the United Nations Population Division. This process is done biannually. These maternal mortality rates compared to the maternal mortality ratio of 289 per 100,000 live births of the Demographic Health Survey, DHS, in 2019-2020 has shown a reduction in maternal mortality rates. However, the Ministry of Health will continue to work on further reducing these figures to meet the WHO recommendation of 70 per 100,000 live births by 2030. In fact, from all the efforts we are making, inshallah, we will achieve this before 2030. Government has put in a lot of strategies to improve on the services, and more steps have been worked on. We are happy to say that we are working on strengthening the health services in three main ways. One, improving on the health infrastructure by expanding, renovating, and upgrading all health facilities and building new facilities to increase access. Two, procuring adequate equipment, medicines, and supplies. Three, building capacity to strengthen the health workforce. Currently, 6 health centers are being built. The 7th facility is that at Faratu, where we are building a 104 bed capacity treatment center, including 20-bed intensive care unit, a blood transfusion center, a new national public health laboratory, an imaging center with MRI, fluoroscopy, and CT scan equipment. A biomedical engineering unit and a conference center are all part of this. Plans have been finalized to build 2 new hospitals in Brikama and Basse, renovate Buyam General Hospital and Brikama Bar Health Center, We built new classrooms and dormitories for CHN and the SEN schools with the support of the MRC Holland Foundation. We have increased the intake for the two schools to enable us to train more nurses for our facilities. We have started the postgraduate training programs in the country for doctors to become members and fellows of the West African College of Surgeons and Physicians. Already 5 of these doctors have passed their membership exams in obstetrics and gynecology. We are also training nurses to specialize in pediatrics, anesthesia, midwifery, and perioperative nursing. These are just few of the many strategies in place to make sure that the health needs of our people are met. We now have 4 brand new oxygen plants in our facilities, 2 at Ndeba, 1 at EFSTH, and another at the Bansang General Hospital. We brought in 80 community ambulances, which are enhancing timely referral of patients to health facilities. We have the modern microwave waste management system, 7 large incinerators for our 7 health regions, 40 incinerators for 40 health facilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for that illustrious effort. With all the list you've given us, you still haven't told me the number of women that died. Can you tell us the number, please? Thank you.
Honorable Member, I thought I answered that question. Typically, when this information